Chris, thank you. Tomorrow is Election Day with a number of key races taking place across the state.
But after the 2020 election, a top Michigan official is speaking out against people questioning the integrity of the voting process.
TV5's James Felton breaks down what Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is telling voters as they head to the polls.
I am here to assure voters that they will be safe and that their rights will be protected.
Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson feeling the need to send that message on the eve of Tuesday's primary election. Benson says those unhappy with the results of the November 2020 election are trying to undermine this one.
This multifaceted attack is carried out with misinformation, lies, legislative strategy, meritless lawsuits, and threats to and harassment of election officials and their families.
Benson points out there have been more than 200 audits and reviews of the November 2020 election by both a Republican-led committee and the state's Auditor General that confirmed votes were counted accurately and fairly. Given that, Benson says conspiracy theorists aren't giving up, telling us they could make a failed attempt to delegitimize the results of this year's state primary and November election.
Bad actors could wrongly claim that the time it takes to finish counting absentee ballots is evidence of malfeasance rather than simply acknowledging the truth that counting often continues long after polls close because the Michigan State Legislature has not provided Michigan election clerks time before Election Day to pre-process absentee ballots.
Benson says any attempts to disrupt the election, suppress voters, or interfere with the election will not be tolerated.
We will protect the voting rights of every citizen and ensure that every valid vote is counted. So I encourage all eligible citizens to confidently participate in our primary election.
James Felton, WNEM TV5.
If you have questions about Election Day, you can call or text the Voter Protection Line at 866-OUR-VOTE. Polls will be open for tomorrow's statewide primary from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. And let's take a look at some of those key elections and proposals here in mid-Michigan. The newly created 8th Congressional District includes parts of Bay, Midland, Saginaw, and Genesee counties. Democratic Congressman Dan Kildee will face one of 3 challengers to represent that new district. Republicans Paul Young, Candace Miller, and Matthew Seeley are all vying for the chance to represent the GOP in November's general election.
In Shiawassee County, a proposed operating millage is on the ballot that would fund senior citizen services. The millage would run for 4 years and raise more than $1.1 million in its first year. A portion of the millage may also be given to a number of downtown development authorities in the county.
In Isabella County, a proposed millage would fund operations, maintenance, and capital costs at the Isabella County Medical Care Facility. It would run for 10 years and raise more than $2.2 million in the first year. A portion of that money could also be given to local downtown development authorities.
New details